Good morning, Saturday morning for you. And we're back around here and talking about some cool stuff. And this time you know what, I was sitting around and I was like, I've been on this kick. Sometimes I get on this kick and I watch certain people channels on YouTube, and of course, going through, you always run into so many other videos as you're scanning through, and I just, I couldn't help but just thinking, it's just like, I was getting so like barraged with just like, the latest greatest, the latest greatest black and tactical and stuff, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's your cup of tea, then that's your cup of tea. Fortunately for me, that's not what's in my cup of tea. But anyway, I just thought, you know what, I said to myself, this collector's radio, I want to bring out some of the stuff that I think everybody that is tuned in loves, and that's good old fashioned blued wood, and just blued steel and wood, and awesome 6-shots, and just all that deal. So anyway, but we're going to get to reading some comments here before we get into all that. And here we go again with the comments. Again, no particular order, and again, if I didn't read your comment, could be for a number of reasons. If I just straight up don't read it, it's just not appropriate for the channel, or it's just not there. Either you're too late in commenting by the time we doing the production of this, or it just got pulled for whatever reasons. A lot of times, if you try to put a link or something in there, it can get pulled, and it does do that. I have noticed that. So anyway, but here we go. All right, no particular order. Revolver Detective. This is a long, or at least I'm trying to do this on my phone this time around. The laptop seems to kind of do something funky with everybody's names. Revolver Detective. Happy New Year. I really enjoy the radio show. I'm a huge vintage revolver fan, and I look forward to more revolver content in the future. Oh, and 1911s of vintage persuasion. Yes. Yeah, I love, I mean, it's really no secret out there that if it comes to semi-auto, a 1911 is my favorite. All right, Stephen K. Happy New Year, BATJAC JW. Love those Parkerized World War II 1911s. You're right about the crazy pricing for them. Just an update on my 1981 Colt Series 70 government model. I replaced all the springs with Wolf springs, and took it to the range and shot 100 rounds through it. It shot fantastic. I plan to replace the collet bushing to preserve it with an Ed Brown Brown bushing, and store the original grips and parts to enjoy shooting this beautiful Colt. Thanks again for the radio show. Not a bad idea. I've done things like that too, where I will preserve the original pieces sometimes, a lot of times grips and whatnot, or I'll buy a second set and I'll rock those for a little while. And so, or of course, later on I started doing other things with grips. An Angry Ranger, gotta love those 1911 A1s. Carried a World War II issued Colt when I went in Vietnam, and yes, I was deployed. It was deployed on occasions in a two-way shooting ranges there. Today, January 7th, I rolled over into yet another year on the planet. I'll just say that 70 is in the rearview mirror, and it looks smaller every year. Time does fly. I'm nowhere near the ages, that up there, but I'm a long ways past 20 and 30, so it's getting smaller in the back there. I'm going, wait, what's going on? I'm getting closer to this other direction, but man, that's what happens. A Scottish American, some beautiful examples, brother. Another great show. 8 years, wow, crazy how long not that far away from 8 years is. Oh yeah, that's true. Crazy Scotsman's been up there for a while. I remember when you first started coming around. Like many others, I have been with you from the day I discovered your channel. Of course, it was a Model 29 video. Then you're going to love this radio show, aren't you? All right, Danger Man. Thanks for the book reference for the World War II 1911s. You're welcome. It's a great book if you can definitely... but, I mean, well, again, like with that stuff, like I don't get all carried away with all the markings and, well, technically that marking is not correct because it didn't have the circle around it and it was tilted too much to that side, and that screw over there should have been tilted a little bit, so it's not correct. They probably replaced that one screw. I don't care. I'm really just the meat and potatoes of it, and as long as it looks good and it's for the most part original, that's all I care about. I really... I don't have that kind of time or the finances to worry about anything beyond that. So I'm always a little hesitant to start looking for a 1911 or M1 carbine because there's a lot of phonies out there. Yes, there is. There's a lot, and there's a lot of companies that have done really good reproductions. And I'm not opposed to that. You guys know. I mean, I a lot of times I will settle for the reproduction because a lot of times, honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, it's better than the old stuff. And I like to shoot them. I like to get them out there and play with them. So, but yeah, there's a lot of phonies out there. I've always wanted a carbine since I was a kid watching old black and white World War II movies. But the prices going up so much. Yeah, you know what, hang on, we'll get through your comment. I will probably pass. I guess that's why my niche is a police revolver from the 1970s. You don't have to be an expert to pick out a good one. There you go. And a lot of times, like I've noticed with that company Inland, that I guess they just bought the name or whatever. They're in Ohio, and I think they're making this stuff either in the same building or in the same parking lot or whatever the old building was or whatnot. Now, my problem with that company is I love what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that you got somebody doing that and putting that kind of classic name back out there. But you're charging the same price for your stuff as somebody would for an original. I mean, that... if you sit there and go, well, hey, BATJAC, JW, you got a reproduction here, it's $1,000, and you can have the original one for $1,200 or $1,100. I mean, come on. I'm going to eat a couple of, soup and sandwiches for a couple of weeks there and get the original. But now the whole point of the, repops they're supposed to be cheaper. They're supposed to be more cost effective on us, on the wallet and the consumer. All right, Edward Petty. My first A1 is what you call a Frankenstein gun. It has a Remington Rand frame and a Colt slide. I still have it and I love it. And there you go. And nothing wrong with that. It's all original. It's still old parts. It's still period correct. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely fantastic. I'd be just as happy as pig in mud with that. All right. Slimfire 54, awesome video, JW, and I hope you're having a great start to the new year. And nice 1911s and rifle. 2, if you're interested in a little history on the PPK, watch where is it? Watch this video from Legacy Collectibles World War II Gun Production Part 2. I think you will like the info, what we are looking forward to, and we are looking forward to more great videos. Thanks, Slim. I'm very familiar with Legacy Collectibles. I do watch that stuff. I do like to watch his PPK videos, and mainly because I like to see all the different styles of grips and stuff on there. The only thing, I mean, I get it, and it's nothing really that has to do with him personally or anything. I do not like that time of era. I don't. The old square S, let's put it that way. I really do not, I oppose it so much. So it's hard for me to watch some of that stuff when you just keep seeing that. But no, the historical aspect of a lot of the stuff he's got is really cool. I do know Tom from Legacy Collectibles. He's got a good channel. All right, Jerry Johnson II, great collector's radio show. I just bought a PSA AR-10 kit All I need is a PSA AR-10 lower now. Keep up the awesome content. BATJAC JW. All right. PSA. Oh, hey man, I mean that's cool. It's more than I know about that stuff. Sean, another great video, and nice to see a nice treat with that rifle. What's it chambered in? 30 carbine. All right, Ryan, we always love your stuff, brother. Thank you. We do appreciate that. Squib load there. Those are some historic 1911s and M1 carbine. All right, and of course my brother in Hawaii, Buddha, Hawaii. I miss you, bro. I really do. Happy New Year, my brother. Hope you're doing well, and I am, brother. All right. Those of you that don't know, I practically grew up with Buddha, Hawaii there. I went to school with him. We've been friends for a long time. All right. The Bohemian Hunting Club. Good show, JW. Thank you, guys. I know you guys have been subscribed for a long time, and you guys make some pretty awesome videos yourselves. RGL01, Saginaw Steering Gear Division of GM. Inlands are made in Dayton, Ohio. It's probably original with a mixed match barrel and receiver. I think all the M1 carbines are pretty much chopped up, mixed match. I think so many different people are making so many different ones. But again, hey, as long as they're all pretty much from the era, who cares? All right, KSFWG. I have a 42 Springfield M1 Garand. Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that's worth. My youngest son has the M1 carbine. He will get my Garand when I'm gone, unless it's buried with me. All right, and Ashley Wilkerson asks, what is my opinion on the Springfield mil-spec, assuming you're talking about the 1911. Springfield Armory is, I would say, you know, I would definitely say they are up there far as one of my top 1911 companies. I like Springfield Armory. I definitely like their rifle, the M1A, and their 1911s. It's just phenomenal. I think that on that aspect of the scale, their 1911s are top notch. Springfield Armory is probably one of my favorite 1911 makers because they can do for starters, they create a phenomenal gun. The slide, the frame, those pieces in the barrel, the key components right there. It's just, you got a great starting point right there. Even with their entry level guns, I own the Garrison currently until I sell it. That's a great starting point right there. Or for instance, like my Ronin Springfield that I have, that's a 9mm Commander with an alloy frame. I'm not going to sell that gun. That gun's just way too much. That to me is the perfect package in 9mm. You can change out all the other things, the grip safety, all that. If you don't like the MIM parts, which give or take, it's opinion. But no, they're great because you can change out parts like that. That's not a big deal. You can change them out. You can figure out how to file and fit them if you just are patient and you can operate a file decently. I mean, I have one up here somewhere. Just go to the store and get a Nicholson file. And just practice and just be careful. I mean, the only thing you're going to end up doing, the worst is you're going to ruin a part. And you cost yourself, $50 or a C note. And that's it. But you can always do that. Or you can go all the way up to the top of their line and spend, 3G and get something really good. So that's why I really do. And yeah, my buddy has the mil-spec 1911. If he ever goes to sell that thing, I'm going to be first one to put my money on the table. But he has had that for a long time, and I don't think he's going to sell it. All right. So, you know what? We brought out some cool stuff. We're going to talk about it. And we brought out the Model 29 Smith & Wesson. Oh, my goodness. This thing just oozes awesomeness. Nothing beats that. The Model 29 6.5-inch barrel. This one happens to be the Again, I know we just got done talking about all the technicalities, but this one, I've always wanted one that was the original 70s vintage one per the movie. And I finally got one out here. And a lot of times people ask me what's my favorite one. Magnum Force. Magnum Force is my favorite Dirty Harry movie. I think this is the best. Obviously, I get it. The original is untouchable. It's always going to be the original one. That's going to have its special place. But to me, Magnum Force, to me, was, by the time they did this movie, come on, they knew this was just as big of a star as Eastwood is in the film. So they knew that going in. So that's why you see the gun more. You see stuff like the scenes where, who doesn't love the whole gun range part? There's 2 gun range scenes in it. Come on. There's 2 gun range scenes in it. You cannot get around the fact, when David Saul says, kind of load using that 44. All that talk, and you hear that back and forth, it's a, light special, and he's like, it's better than your 357 Magnum there, all this. You gotta love the dialogue. And you know what? And I tell you, it's funny as I meet people or people talk to me, they, and I'm not saying like I'm the guy that knows everything about films or anything like that, but it's funny because they try to tell me about something about the movie, and it's like, you don't even know who John Milius is. And I'm gonna tell you, this is like, these movies wouldn't be as awesome as they are. We're talking first 2 films, especially this one, and you don't even know who John Milius is. John Milius is the guy that made this happen. All the cool stuff in it, you can thank John Milius for. You can thank John Milius for putting this firearm in the movie. And I love what Milius said about it. He goes, they asked him, why choose that gun? And his response was, well, I had one sitting in my drawer when I was writing the script or the screenplay or whatever, the story. And now he believed that, he's a big hunter and he's got one precise shot, bang, and that's it. So, but you gotta love this stuff. But when you see that when they do the whole police, the whole they have the moving targets and the pop-up targets in the shoot house, and they're doing all that, and you see Clint Eastwood drop that speed loader in there and turn it and toss it, and that's an HKS speed loader. And then of course David Saul's got the newer fancier speed loader, the Safariland style, where you just push the back of it and it jets the shells in there. Love how they kind of played the 2 against each other almost, and it's just amazing. The only thing that would have made this movie better is if in the end they had them go head to head, their Magnum versus his Magnum. That's the only bummer I felt with the movie. That his gun gets emptied, he throws his ammo out the door, and his gun gets thrown in the backseat, which, by the way, I believe gets blown up along with Hal Holbrook. But I just said, man, that would have been, so instead he's running away from them as they're chasing him around in the factory, trying to get him. So that's the only thing I would have said would have made it even better, is if they would have had that in the end, the Magnum going against the Magnum. That would have been, that just would have been great. Let's see what this one says. Detective Cary Callan you don't assign him to murder cases. You just turn him loose. Look at how they have the bullet hits to spell his double O in his last name. Oh, look at that. Good old days. Days that are gone. I miss those days. Some people you talk to, they don't even know what that is. But anyway, speaking of the other one we brought out here, I brought out my, this one here is the 8 3/8. I still have this. I bought this way back. I've had it for a number of years. It's the 8 3/8 model. And here's the funny thing. And I know somebody that's watching this right now that has this poster. There's the original cover for the last Dirty Harry movie, the Deadpool, and you can see there, that right there is this gun. I mean, there is no way you can tell by you can tell the size by the ejection shroud to the top of the muzzle. I mean, you can tell that sucker is not the 6.5-inch barrel. I mean, that always. I remember seeing that this tape as a kid. When I saw that in the video store, I'm like, damn, that has to be good. You know, because growing up then, you know, this stuff was. I mean, this was pretty. You know, this wasn't that old. This stuff was pretty new. I mean, this was hot ticket. You know, rentals you go and get. So, I love that. I love that. Great stuff. But yeah, these are two of my favorite revolvers right here to bring out. I tell you, there's nothing like when you go to the range and you got a chamber. I mean, look at that. I mean, you got the big old chambers right there to house the 44 specials. I shoot mostly specials because I'm not trying to wear them out. I'm not trying to blow buildings down. I'm just usually plinking paper and steel and whatnot. So there's no reason to just like boom and destroy stuff. No, I just want to have fun with them and take them out and enjoy them and not abuse them and just just kind of have that experience right there. But there's nothing like it. I mean, when you go out there, you got a box of those shells, and that's really awesome because you don't need to go out there rolling out there with 400 rounds or anything like that. I mean, I'll take this thing to the local range down here, and I'll take 50 rounds with me, sometimes maybe less. And I usually won't shoot all 50 rounds. I just have fun with it and just shooting it. And something about putting those 6 rounds in the chamber, blasting them off, and then popping the brass and watching the brass come out and the size of those pieces of brass. The experience is unbelievable. It's really cool. It's something really awesome. And I just had a thing for the big bore stuff. Early on when I was watching, I really got into it because I remember watching videos of guys with the single action 45 Colts and watching those big pieces of brass be punched out of the cylinder, man. And then of course, being a big fan of a lot of those, and I mean, I know they're not period correct Westerns, but, John Wayne Westerns and Clint Eastwood and all that. So that, I loved it. I mean, of course, why not have the original, or the single action? So, again, just the revolver love. And I brought this out to show you guys. This is another holster. I have not actually really shown this one. I've shown the other one that I got that I actually had custom made for me by the company that makes them, Lawman Leather. You can still contact them. And I know that, some people, they like them or not, but they're the guys doing these. They're the ones that are making them. Now this one here I bought separately off of another auction. It was really cheap, and part of the reason it was really cheap, it was left-handed. And guess who's left-handed? This guy. So when I had the opportunity to purchase it, I said, yeah, I'll get it. It's old. It's cracking a little bit here and there, and I think this part might have been a little bit. Let's see if I can still. Yeah, and I think that part right there has lost its spring a little bit. Yeah, well, not really, but this is an older one. It is a Lawman leather right here. It does still say Lawman Leather and GDS. So 29.6 LH, which obviously means model 29 6-inch barrel. You can see the old school stampings there still. It doesn't say the Dirty Harry holster or anything, but I mean it's pretty obvious it's the original Dirty Harry holster with the enclosed spring and the circle cut out and that infamous hook on the bottom. It's got the Y strap, and actually it broke. The bottom little Y piece broke that clips onto your belt. I was going to just make another one and replace it, but I haven't had this thing out for a long time, and there's the part that actually clips to your belt and everything. But yeah, I bought it, and I own it just because of the nostalgia, really. Not necessarily something I want to take and use and wear, or I mean, I could, but just, you know, having that with the gun, that's pretty cool to just kind of have that out there. But yeah, anyway, I just had this feel to, you know, get out some of the old school, you know, wood and steel six shooters, and just kind of bring them out and enjoy them, and, you know, sit around and drink coffee and hang out with you folks right there, you know, and doing all this. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this week's show, and talk about all this stuff, and we'll bring out more things, and, you know, kind of go through that. And again, I mean, even these things, man, these things have gotten so expensive. You know, just to think that what I paid for both of these, I don't even think you could buy one of them anymore for that price. I was really lucky with the 8 3/8. This was all the way back on the island. I'll tell you guys the story of it. I saw this on an auction on Gunbroker, and I contacted a buddy of mine because this was back. I couldn't get on there for the life of me. I'm not a computer literate person. So I had a buddy of mine do it for me. He had an FFL, contacted him and bought it for me, and I just paid him the money to do it. He's just a good friend of mine. That's why he did it for me that way. But I bought it and the pictures were terrible. The pictures were not good. And they had scope rings mounted or put on this thing. They removed this sight, and they had this scope mount thing right here. And so obviously I took that off. I gave it to him, and I even gave him the original rubber grips. I got these grips later to put on there. But I picked this. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was like $600 or $700. I bought this gun for, and I wasn't sure if it was what kind of condition it was in. I was a little afraid of that. But what I went on was the fact that there was hardly any turn ring from lockup to lockup. I mean, I put more of a turn ring on it than it ever had. It barely had anything on there, and that's kind of what I went by. And so I took a chance, and I told him, get it for me. He got it for me, and I remember going over to his place to get it and check it out, and he handed it to me. He said, "You got really lucky." He said, "I inspected this thing." He goes, "I don't know if it was ever fired." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "If anything," he goes, "this guy or whoever owned it, they fired it one time, cleaned it, put it away, and they never touched it again." He's like, "Because I don't," and I got it, and I tell you, all the inside of the frame and everything, all these pieces, it was clean. I mean, it's still clean as much as I shot it, but it was clean. And I even took a napkin and went in there and, you know, kind of, you know, brush around in there, and, you know, doing a little, you know, half-ass, you know, white glove kind of deal in there, and nothing. I mean, there was no carbon buildup or anything like that. So I'm like, wow. So, you know, go figure. But of course, that was, you know, kind of looking back at it. I mean, I've had this gun probably 9 years. You know, just thinking about that, I probably had it 8 or 9 years. That's just insane to think about that. But that's how long I've had it. And then a lot of these other ones here, I got lucky that you know, people were letting them go, and I was in the right place to say, "Hey, what do you want for that thing? I'll take it." So anyway, there you go, and we'll leave you with that. Boom.